Well, we finally got the last of our stuff out from up in Georgia, so I've been moving a lot this weekend. I'll tell you what, is it a weekend? Yeah, I guess it was, because today's Monday. Oh boy, ever since Thanksgiving Day, I have just been going and going. And Thanksgiving Day was the day that I would begin my fast. However, I didn't begin it as well as I should have. So I gotta start off with, hello, I'm Dante Ferrigno, and I'm an addict. Yes, I'm a sugar addict. And when you get around it, it can be hard to resist, even when you know it's the thing you don't need to be eating. Thanksgiving Day, I had a ribeye to leave and go see family. And then on the way there, I brought a ribeye and my air fryer, my Dreo Chef Maker. I got another ribeye going right now. And I got there and I ate the ribeye and everything was fine until they started bringing all the desserts out. And you know, I could say it was a moment of weakness. I could say that it was because people had made some homemade stuff and they wanted me to try it. But ultimately, it was a decision I made before any of that even came into mind. I'm gonna have some. And I did. I had some pumpkin pie, I had some pecan pie, and I had some cherry pie. I guess I followed another rule that I always tell people: if you're gonna splurge, don't go nuts. I went a little nuts. As far as I'm concerned, that's a little nuts. Because not only do I already know that it's gonna make me feel awful for the next couple of days, but I was starting my fasting that day. So, and I ate it later in the day, so I had to wait to break my fast yesterday, very late in the day, so I could have my 3 days in. But you know, in the end, it worked out for the best, because I learned some things this week that I wouldn't have learned had I not done that. Take a look at my Keto Mojo Health app, and we'll see what we did here. Okay, so the 23rd was Thanksgiving, and on the 22nd, I checked my numbers in the evening at 6:16 p.m., which was a little early, but I knew I was ready for bed very shortly. So, and we were gonna sit down and watch a movie, and I didn't want to forget. So I checked my blood glucose and my ketones, and my glucose was at 91, which was surprising because I hadn't eaten since earlier in the afternoon, about 12. But my ketone levels were up still. I was still at 1.0 on ketones. So that's a sign that my body's taking that fat, turning it into ketones, using it for energy, or expelling it from my body. Then on the 23rd in the morning, I took my blood glucose, and my glucose numbers were 80, which is, you know, not high, but it's higher than I usually see during the day or during the middle of the day or the evening, because that's the dawn effect. And my ketone level was down to 0.4, which I was surprised at. Then the following morning, the day after Thanksgiving, I took my blood glucose and it was 109. That's the first time I've been over 100 since I've had this machine. And my ketones were down to 0.3. So I'm out of ketosis. I was out of ketosis the night before, or the morning before. But I probably got back into ketosis that day until that moment that I ate those things. Now, what was interesting is that throughout my fasting, my 3-day fasting, all day Friday, all day Saturday, and most of the day Sunday until the evening when I finally did break it with the beautiful ribeye that I had, I got home and my wife had, she was about an hour behind me in the trip, and I had to wait for her to get home so that I'd have my ketone meter, because it was in my bag in her car. I had to drive this big truck home. I spent the whole weekend moving stuff, as I started off telling you guys about. And I noticed that I wasn't feeling as energetic as I normally feel. Even during a fast, I usually have plenty of energy. But this time, doing all that work was a bit more labor than normal. And even today, I still feel side effects from eating those carbs. Thursday, today's Monday, because it sticks with you. When your body's just not used to having that poison in it and you put the poison back in, it sticks with you and it makes you feel groggy. It brings back the brain fog. I mean, it's like an instant side effect, but it takes me right back to where I was living before I started this way of eating. So anyway, let's see, the 25th, that would be the morning after I'd been fasting for a day. my glucose was still 97 and my ketones were at 0.6. So I was back in a state of ketosis, even in the morning at 9, 10 a.m., which is a little late for the dawn effect, but it was still early enough because I woke up late. We were traveling and we were in a hotel at the time. And then the following morning I checked again and my glucose was still 98 and my ketones were down to 0.4. Now I took that one at 8:37. That was right after I woke up, so I'm assuming the dawn effect was still in play there. And then yesterday I checked my ketones just before I ate that steak and I was at 0.4 on ketones, so still not in ketosis, but my glucose had come down to 74. So I was starting to feel a little bit better about things. And before I eat this beautiful ribeye steak here, I'm gonna go ahead and check my numbers again real quick. Let me go ahead and change this battery and we'll check it. All right, so this will be a midday reading, which I haven't been doing as much of because I'm trying not to blow through all of my test strips. But I'm also trying to track the effects of fasting when you're on a carnivore diet and seeing how it affects you. And I guess it's good that I've got some examples of what it's like when you get on to carbohydrates again. Although if I could go back, I would not do that. So I would encourage you, if you can, just remember, it's not worth it. It's definitely not worth it to indulge in those carbohydrates because I have just felt junky and I've been driving. I had to drive from here to Orlando, which I'm about 2 hours from there. And then I had to drive back to here. And then the next day I got up and we drove to Georgia, which was about 4.5 hours. And then we were driving around all over there because we were meeting with family. And then I was loading up that truck and trying to get too much done in 2-day period. And then I had to drive back. It was raining, so that made it a little bit more fun when you're driving a 26-foot truck. We didn't need a truck that big. That was just all they had in stock, and that's what they gave us for the same price as the small one. And then get home, watch some more football, because I got to watch the Dolphins play Friday, and then I watch all the games. I love watching football. But we got home and watched some football right away, and then took a break that evening. And then this morning we got up, and I didn't even have time to make anything to eat. I just got started unloading the truck and having my mother-in-law tell me to put this here and put that there, and then we had to wind up putting it somewhere else in the end because it wouldn't go where she wanted it to go. So it's been a good workout, and here it is. It's 2:30 in the afternoon, and I'm finally going to eat today, which is not the way I wanted to do it. Ketones are at 1.2. Beautiful. Glad to see that. See if I can get a little more blood going here. My wounds just close right up. There we go. .108, still high. I am really surprised to see my glucose level that high and be in ketosis. All I can say is eating those carbs this Thursday, they threw my body for a whirlwind. So when you wonder, is it worth it to cheat? Not only have you got the examples of so many people, including me, telling you that when you do, you always regret it, but now you've got some physical proof to go with it as to why it's not a good idea. Because I've not been hitting numbers over 100 until after that day. A couple of things I want to show you before I end this video. I bought something here recently that a friend of mine on the Facebook group, Ferrigno Freedom Facebook group, which if you haven't joined already, come over and join. We share a lot of stories together, winnings, losings, mistakes, problems, anything that we can talk about that helps us work through a carnivore or keto way of eating. That's going to be so much better for us. But who is it that shared this with me? Chris Garcia, who's a member of our group, had shared this image here, and I thought, you know what, I want to give that a try. So I ordered some, and I'm not affiliated with them. I just wanted to let you know I was going to try to add a little bit of fat this week because I've watched some videos about fasting and fat. And I will say one thing, I found out that if I don't have some carnivore crisps, even when I break a 3-day fast to get started, it can really have an effect on how well it digests. By skipping the carnivore crisps yesterday because I was in such a hurry when Katie finally got home, I forgot, I didn't even think about doing carnivore crisps. I was exhausted. And man, they sure put this thing on here where it won't want to come off ever. So I tried breaking my fast with just the ribeye, and a 3-day fast, according to some of the doctors out there, isn't enough to worry about breaking your fast lightly or anything. You could feast right afterward and you'll probably be fine. But I gotta say, not only did I have loose stool all that evening, within 20 minutes of eating I had that a couple of times, and then 2 more times afterward before bed. And it felt like a lead weight at the bottom of my stomach area, at the top of my intestines, all evening long. So this, look at this, I got Wagyu, I got Wagyu tallow all over my hands. Well, that's okay, it makes good hand cream. It even makes good face cream. It's good for you. Now this isn't like I thought it would be. This has a consistency like whipped cream. Well, I'm just gonna throw a little on top here. That might be too much, but you know what? I'm gonna start with it because I wanna have a little bit of fat this week and see how that affects my numbers. So I'm gonna try increasing the fat a little bit and see how those numbers look, because you know, I keep hearing it backwards and forwards with fat, that if you eat too much, you're gonna gain weight. But if you're not eating enough, you're gonna gain weight. If you're eating too much protein, that'll cause you to gain weight. So I'm gonna really kind of test those numbers out this week and see if adding fat will make a big difference. I will say one thing when it comes to supplements that I found recently is this morning, I took a couple of these Keto Chow electrolyte tablets, and I was dragging all morning for the first couple of hours after that. And finally I came back in after doing some work out there unloading that truck, and I took a scoop of my re-lyte from Redmond and put it in my water, sat down for about 10 minutes. I felt like a whole different person. I don't see how these wouldn't have the same effect in a much longer amount of time, but I haven't noticed much when I try these. But when I have re-lyte, and I only use unflavored re-lyte for those of you who wonder about the flavorings and things that I like to avoid, I don't do flavoring. I love the unflavored flavor. Re-lyte is great, man. I tell you, it's just been, as far as something for electrolytes, it has been my go-to, and I still love it. I know a lot of people talk about Keto Chow and LMNT, and I've been offered to recommend both of them. As a matter of fact, I do represent, you know, I have an affiliate link for Keto Chow in the description, but I'm telling you, Redmond has that market really sewn up when it comes to the best quality electrolyte mix that I've been able to find. And right now, their Redmond smoke salts are still ruling the day for me. I got a couple of these to be gifts for some people, because I think these make great little stocking stuffers or something for guys you don't know what to buy for, but if they like meat, they'll love that Redmond smoke salt. And they got a lot of specials going on with Cyber Monday and all throughout the holidays. I'm sure their shipping is much faster than it used to be. So be sure to check out my link in the description for Redmond salt if you're interested in re-lyte or smoke salt, or it's a good time to get a 25-pound bag of salt too when you can get them on a good sale, because geez, a 25-pound bag of salt will last me all year long. I still got one I bought earlier this year that's about a quarter of the way full still. So let's see how this Wagyu tallow tastes. Man, it almost tastes like I'm eating frosting. I can't believe how good that is. But if you're interested in that tallow, even though I don't have an affiliation with them, I'll put a link in the description for you. But Maybe if a bunch of you guys let them know who sent you, they'll reach out to me and we'll see about getting more of it. But that's going to do it for this quick update on the fasting situation. At least I still got the fast in, and I still got 3 more weeks to go, and we'll see how this all works out. Hopefully it plays out well, even with my Thanksgiving mistake. But that's it for this one, guys. I'll see you next time.
If we pay extra, could we maybe get some grease or fat?